I'll fast forward. If you want to know a little bit more about me personally, I'd love to meet we'll have a one-to-one, or love to talk to anybody about their marketing situation. But I've owned this company for 23 years. We started down in Burnsville as a commercial printer. And about 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, 15 years ago, we kind of saw the writing on the wall, realized we had been in mailing at the time, but really understood that boy, the world is changing, and digital is here to stay. And one of the first steps we really got involved in was data mining, heavy market research as far as cloning your current clients, finding those data. We've got relationships with all the major data banks, and then we developed some systems that really work good at interviewing the clients, finding out who they're trying to reach, and building those targeted lists for them. And then along with that, then we got into the other channels. We really are a multi-channel agency. I mean, we're really specialist in some of the direct target conversions, acquisitions. We have a little crossover with the VisiWeb a little bit, I think, in that essence. But we really, in some of those other channels that he's talking about, we're really kind of generalist. Where does a generalist come in handy? Is that if you're dealing with a small business on a limited market, sometimes they can't. They really first need to find out, hey, what am I going to do? I got all these different channels. What should be my mix of those channels? What can I possibly afford? And how much can I do? And how much can I afford to farm out? I help with some of those type of questions. So, real quickly, it used to be that when digital really came on strong about 5 years ago, me and the big guy in the yellow shirt, we might be wrestling here a little bit, okay? Because there was a thinking that, with a minimum budget, that somehow the inbound being digital primarily. I mean, you're engaging and driving people to a web portal or to a social media strategy, versus outbound. That is, still going out and sending out mailings, making cold calls, networking, and things of that nature. But really, the key is you need to find a harmony between these two, and I'm going to show you real quickly why. This just came from Entrepreneur Magazine, August 2015. The editor there, he had earlier in 2014 had kind of bashed direct mail, said, well, yeah, it's kind of a dinosaur, a lot of wasted space, and he came back and said, you know what? Direct mail response rate, looking at the current study from last year, said is still driving 3.4%. Versus emails, 0.12%. Maybe it deserves a second look. Silverpop, if you're familiar with Silverpop, they're an IBM company. What do they make? Email marketing tools and software. They're on a blog from their VP just recently, back in April. He said many established businesses have an audience that's purely offline with only portal addresses. From these contexts, if there's more and more internal push to go digital, try leveraging direct mail to this end by creating a direct mail piece with a link to your email sign-up form. Direct Marketing Association, which deals with both digital and traditional marketing, had a very interesting report they called a response rate report. They put it out every June. And this is from June's. Direct mail responses rate outperform digital channels by a long shot. Direct mail achieves a 3.7% response rate, a little different than the Entrepreneur Magazine, but he's close, 3.7, 3.4, with an in-house list, and a 1% response rate with a prospect list. All digital channels combined only achieve a 0.62% response rate. Mobile at 0.2, email at 0.1, social media at 0.1, paid search at 0.1, and display advertising at 0.02. Cost per acquisition is still very, very competitive. You can take a look at this. Direct mail stands at $17 to $19 per acquisition. That's your percentage to land the sale. When they did that same comparison, they find that mobile and social, both about $16 to $18. Paid search, $21 to $30. Internet display, $41 to $50. Again, it's an expensive way to get a click, so to speak, but can also be very useful. I've got clients doing it very, very successfully. And even email, $11 to $15. So, and don't get me wrong, I love email marketing. Okay, I really do. But both mail and email have the power to drive consumers to action. Here from that same study, you found out that 44% say I'm most likely to do something as a result of. 44% of the respondents said this of email, and 42% said this of mail. So it's kind of the whole deal, how do you like to be touched? It really kind of depends on the demographic. It kind of depends on where you're at. Google owns one of the largest email platforms in the world. We all know that, right? But the surprising thing, do you know what Google uses for their major acquisition? They still, yet, for business acquisition, Google continues to use direct mail. You've all seen them, the $100, the $50 coupons that come in for AdWords in your mailbox. They're reaching qualified businesses, the selected and targeted businesses who they believe that they can sell AdWords to. Mail from the same study, mail makes recipients feel more value than email, helping you earn more time with your target audience. When we talk about value, some of that value is actually the touch and feel. If you actually get if it's a relevant, like Pat said, if it's a very, very relevant and targeted and a well-planned mailing, you know you're sending to somebody who has interest in something you already, that matches your product, services, or your nonprofit. They already have an interest in that area. You send them something, you've already kind of overcame one barrier. Yeah, like I said, I'm a musician. I like guitars. I love motorcycles. If you send something to me, you send me something with a guitar or motorcycle on, I'm opening it. I can guarantee you I'm going to open the envelope. They spend more time reading it. They grab it. It grabs attention. It gives a better impression. Sending out mail drives. This is the important thing about multi-channel. Sending out mail drives customers online. Because now, we're trying to just engage them. We want to get them to your website. I mean, if you're not doing, if you haven't done your SEO really, really well, you're not paying for Google AdWords or cost per click, how are you going to get them to your website? I'm talking about folks you've never engaged with before. This is still very, very powerful. 87% influence to make online purchases came from direct mail. 86% connect with businesses that way, 54% engage in social media that way, and 43% will actually go to that website and download something as a result of a direct mail piece. Customers don't like the idea of just one communication channel. This is very, very important. 51, 56, 65. Any way they look at it, like to browse through both catalogs and online purchases. 56%, the most digitally active group that they interviewed said that, hey, mail still makes me feel more valued. And 51% prefer companies to use a combination of both mail and email. I'm not going to go through this whole customer journey thing because I think we kind of hit on a lot of this stuff before, but everybody realizes there is a cycle, there's a journey in any business relationship. And the fact is that you can see from this is some of my findings working with clients, and also this was also backed up by some of the information in the study. I still believe a very strong place if you're trying to build interest is to do a targeted demographic and geographically selected mail piece and make sure it's designed so it's going to gain response and get their attention, get their interest, and use that as a good starting point to get them into your cycle. Prompt, I love email for prompt. Okay, they're already in your cycle, they're kind of thinking about doing business with you. And now you've already captured them through some communication. Once you've got them in your opted-in list, where you're going to get the kind of open rates that Tig told us about. I'm sorry I butchered your first name, but yeah, the kind of open rates he's talking about are coming from opted-in list. I'm sure he'll agree with me. The last thing you want to do is go on the internet, buy some cheesy targeted email list, and start blasting. Because I'll tell you what, if you're using Constant Contact or MailChimp is somebody who I personally like. First of all, they're not going to let you do that because they're very, very religiously tied into the anti-spam laws and stuff. And then they don't want to get themselves blacklisted. They don't want to get you blacklisted. But there are ways, there are softwares you can buy yourself if you want to buy those lists and send out 100,000 emails. But I'll guarantee you, not very many of them are going to get through. And so, but I like it once you've captured that. Then I like that. I like email for that tool very, very much. For welcome, I think you can use both. Kind of depends on the audience, kind of depends on the demographics, or use both. Honestly, use both. For every 4 or 5 emails, send them a letter, send them a postcard. Statements. I think customers should have an option of how they like to be paid by you. I think some people, I see them all the time, gets frustrated when I say, well, I emailed you the invoice. Well, I'm sorry, I get 200, 300 emails a day, and I didn't see it, and that's why I didn't pay it. There's a lot, I've rented a lot of people. In fact, there's some online billing companies now that are creating printed statement options, so their clients can still send out printed statements. Use both for updates and promotion. Again, I think it's they both carry different weight. Obviously, email is much more cost effective. You're not paying for postage, you're not paying for printing. But the thing is you will still want to keep mixing. You want to mix those channels in. Another thing, places for complaints. Now, see, if you got an online complaint and you have a conversation, or even online, or if you can get some more information from that guy, if you give us your address so you can mail a refund or mail them some type of apology, do it. I would do that through mail. And if you're going to send somebody a personal, I'm sorry, send them a letter, or send them a nice card, send them a nice note. Because like Peter talked about, those relationships are golden. And finally, if you've lost a customer, or they're inactive, or you haven't had a conversation within 90 days or 180 days, I like to think, it's time to reach out to them. And I believe mail is a much stronger device for reaching back out to them, because the fact is you can really make a personal and physical touch. The not so good news, that could be good news. Direct mail usage is down, which is half of the response to this report from the DMA said that they use the channel. I think that's a mistake. While fewer companies reported using direct mail, that can be a very good news for those who do. As there's a lot less competition in the mailbox. That's just what Pat was saying, is that there just isn't as much direct mail in there anymore. So that's an opportunity. You can't say that they're getting less emails in their box anymore. 4 other reasons to add direct mail to your digital mailing strategy. Young adults love physical mail. There's been all kinds of demographic studies from 18 to 25, 26. They're so engaged online. They're so engaged with their text marketing and their text messaging and everything. When somebody actually sends them something in an envelope with their name on it, they're going to say, wow, somebody sent me something. Wow, I'm going to open it up. This is amazing. Wow, mail. Why? I thought that was dead. All eyes are on the message. If you create the right piece, the right envelope, you're going to get all eyes on your message. I cannot believe that 100% of mail isn't at least glanced at. You can't say that about emails. We all know that. You do the auto dump after 6 months. You've got at least a second or two. And if you've done your homework with your demographics, psychographics, and geographics, you're already sending them, remember, something. You're already sending them something bright, shiny object that they're interested in. Powerful for local businesses. I love EDDM for local businesses. That's where if you're a restaurant or a hair salon or even a specialty retailer, I love EDDM. You can go out and blanket an entire neighborhood. You already got that close proximity. It's a product that everyone uses, right? And you get a big discount on postage. You don't need to buy a list from somebody like me. There's no list cost. There's no addressing cost. It's a very, very economical way to do a direct mail campaign. And again, it's all about tracking. Don't ever send out anything that can't be tracked. We're watching Google Analytics. We're watching the feedback. I really recommend that you talk to your web guy, or if you're doing your own website, if you're going to do a serious mail campaign, set up a landing page only for that campaign. Because then it's very, very easy in Google Analytics to see what type of traffic you're getting to and from your website. If they're coming there to download a white paper or get some tips on something or watch a video. 3 secrets to successful direct mail is the right list, a compelling offer, and creative copy. This is a mix, just like everyone has pie charts. The list is still 50%. How you pick that targeted data is absolutely critical to the success of a campaign. That's a little different with EDDM because, again, you've got a product that everybody wants, and you're, again, targeting a very specific neighborhood. Then the next most important thing in that mix is I want to call the compelling offer. And then the creative and copy. The right list. Two kinds of lists. There's in-house. That's your own list. It could be past customers. It could be inactive customers. It could be current customers. It could be an association you belong to. It could be if you're a member of a chamber. Basically, it's a list you're mining yourself. Then there's the rented or purchased list. Purchased or rented list are either compiled or the response list. A compiled list is where we take whatever we've sat down with that interview now. We've talked about your ideal geography, your ideal psychology, who basically, you know, a little bit about your mission statement and what your USP is, and I'll cover that in a little bit. And we've really talked about the demographics. And then from there, we build a targeted list based on all of those settings. And for example, here's an example of something I did for a handyman company that has several locations. They really wanted to build business in these zip codes. Their age range was 30 to 40 years old was that decision maker, 60 to 90,000, income 100,000 to 250,000, marital status, married, and other on and on. And see the results of this MRI are right here. We do this first just to kind of take a shot of the universe. We take the 30,000-foot view of who you're trying to reach, so we get an idea, okay, what kind of budget is this going to take if you're going to reach out to all these? Now they decided, well, that was a lot, 19,000. We couldn't even handle, even if you got me 1%, I don't even have the bandwidth to handle that much. So again, we use this kind of report as the first step, and we go in and we mine down a little deeper, and we get a little bit more specific. And for this, we ended up doing, I think, around a 4,400 piece count. Then there's a response list. Several internet retailers. The big one here is this is Sharper Image. But there's magazines, there's publications, there's industry associations. They're gathering up responses from people who visit their website or people they sell things to. This can be very, very powerful because the thing is that obviously, let's say if you are a horse chiropractor, okay, it might be really handy to know of people in your demographics, okay, that people in your demographics and you're in your geography, for example, it might be really nice people who bought horse accessories or bought saddles, right? Or bought books on horses and so forth and so on. That could be very, very powerful. These are usually a little more expensive list than a compiled list, but they can be very, very powerful. And sometimes we like to test both in a certain demographic. The compelling offer. Creating a compelling offer, making an irresistible great offer. I think BusyWeb does a pretty good job of this with their free Wednesday deal, and Dave and the folks over there, they do a very good job of this. My hat's off to them. What's a compelling offer? This is coming, folks, right? If you're from here, you know this is coming. 2 years ago, this picture is from Minneapolis. And it was on a day where we had a tremendous snowstorm. Now imagine if you're a retailer, or you're a business, you're having your grand opening that day, or you're having your big sale launches that day, or you're trying to get people to a business event that day. You better have a pretty darn good compelling offer to get them to come out on a day like this in Minnesota, right? That's the key. If you really want to test you really want to test a great compelling offer, your compelling offer better get them out the door on a day like this. Your USP is very, very important. Your unique selling proposition. I'm a big fan of Dan Kennedy. People familiar with Dan Kennedy? Yep. Okay. And I love this statement of his. If you want to know how to write a good USP, a unique selling proposition, again, differentiation yourself from the rest of the pack. Why should I, your prospect, do business with you versus any other and every other option available to me in your category? That's a powerful statement. I'm going to just sit for a second and think about that. And I think what's really, really powerful about this statement, not only every other option, but every other option, not any other business doing what you're doing, but in this world, anybody else who has an option to provide a positive response, a positive experience on what you're looking to do. And I borrowed this from Dan Kennedy as well. He writes this is the greatest USP, he says, in history. Fresh, hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or it's free. Tom Monahan. This turned out to be a $10 billion USP. And did he say it was the greatest pizza? No. Did he say it was the freshest ingredients? No. All green ingredients? No. But the fact is that he really, and I had a unique opportunity. I had lunch with Tom Monahan 10 years ago when I was in Detroit. We were at a business event together, his wife and I, and him and his wife. He spoke and just happened to come down and sit by us on the table. And he said, and I asked him about this, being I've been in marketing for my entire life. I said, hey, tell me, how did you just come up with that one day? He said, you know what, this actually took years to develop, because first we had to get the system down to make the pizza very, very quickly. We had to have the many locations in place in a certain city in order to fulfill this promise. So there's a lot of things so if you don't have a great USP today, don't worry, it'll come. But keep in mind that the end goal, that if you can come up with this kind of USP, it can be very, very powerful. Three kinds. You can start off with a guarantee in that compelling offer. There's three kinds of guarantees, and there's a satisfaction guarantee if you're not happy, results guarantee if after 3 treatments your teeth are not 3 shades whiter. There's a perception guarantee. If you don't feel this event was the best business event you attended this year, go over and ask Pat for a refund. Irresistible offers are born from testimonials and credibility. There's 3 kinds of testimonials. There's the outcome. The campaign secured us 4 new meetings with a decision maker. Service and quality. Thank you for your wonderful service. Your staff really made us feel special. That's a touchy-feely thing, especially even with our small project. That's a perception. Overcome objections. At first I thought AdWords would never work for my business, but my doubts were erased with our sales increase last quarter. Those happen to be all 3 referrals that I've gotten from clients. Kind of gives you a little idea about what I do. Which goes to my next slide. Don't have any testimonials. I'm new in business, or God, I've been so busy trying to build my business, I haven't kept track of any of them, and it's really, really a struggle. You know what? The best thing to do, I like email for that. Follow-up email surveys. You can have a satisfaction card you can leave with the client at the end of the transaction as well. You can help your customers write them. A lot of times I get this, my customer, they say they're no good at writing, so write it for them. Just get them to sign it. And contest is another way. You can put that out there, hey, tell us about, we're going to have a contest about the best experience you've had with my services. And those who give us the best story are going to get a great gift certificate. Awards you've won is another way to build credibility. Articles you've written or been featured in. Experience, years in the business. Case studies. Pictures, videos, before and after. Again, online can be very, very powerful for this. Irresistible offers are born from using deadlines with your offers. Deadlines are, I always recommend using a deadline. If you're making an offer, put a deadline on it. If you're just out building image, okay. You don't have to put a deadline on your image. But if you're actually making that a compelling, irresistible offer, you better have a deadline on it. Don't hide it. A lot of people put the deadline down in a really tiny little thing. No. It has to be an important ingredient in their mind to tell them that I have to act now. I like this idea. I use this for several campaigns. This is called the double deadline. This offer expires on November 30th, 2015, but if you respond before November 10th, you will get something even better. Or the first 50 callers, or the first 50 people who like our Facebook. There's several different ways to spin this thing. Irresistible offers are born from well-crafted, compelling offers. Again, you must motivate. You got to motivate them. You know, it has to appeal to your target audience, and it has to trigger emotion and focus on the end result. It has to be delivered with a sense of urgency. That's a deadline. Free is still very, very powerful. Don't get me wrong. I have ran over the years thousands, I mean literally thousands of marketing campaigns, direct mail campaigns. I've been doing this for a long time, okay. Free was powerful then, free is still powerful today. Free information, free demonstration, free trial, free estimate, free sample, free survey, free gift, free Wednesday mornings at BusyWeb. Again, it's a very powerful motivator. Business consumer can be a rebate after sale, a seasonal sale, a customer appreciation, 2-for-1s. Those are still powerful offers. Time limit. You know, I'm only going to be in the area. Our reps are only going to be in the area in Minneapolis for this short period of time. If you want to take advantage of this offer, you better act now. Introductory pricing, volume discounts, and trade-in. I got a great letter the other day, and my truck's only about 2 years old, but the dealer said, hey, we're willing to, and they had it all personalized and variable data and everything. Hey, Larry, we want to buy back your GMC 1500, and you know what, you bring it in, and we'll do a key-for-key trade. We'll give you a brand new vehicle, and you won't have to won't have to pay us a thing. Your payments will be exactly the same. Now, they didn't tell me that my payments would be extended for another 2 years after that. But you know what? It made me read through the letter, and you know, I almost thought about calling them, because I said, it would be kind of nice to have that new car feel again, right? People are interested in themselves. I think he touches on this very good as well. How your offer benefits them. The benefits importance. Not making a wrong decision. Why they should act now. What's in it for me? I think you talked about this. Your clients are not interested in what you're selling. They're interested in results of what you're selling and what it does for them on all levels. And the creative and copy. This is a big one, folks. If you do your own design, or you hire an outside designer, you hire us. Focus on the copy first, the design second. People really, especially graphic artists, and I love them. I've been in that space for myself for 20-some years. I had the very first Macintosh when it came out. I've been an Adobe service provider. I know the Adobe software like the back of my hand. But the fact is that I'll tell you that's the biggest mistake graphic artists make if they're not marketing people. They are so worried about making it look pretty and making it look balanced and all the things that they've learned in graphic art school that they forget about the copy. And the copy mentally is what they're going to read first. And again, the image and the copy somehow have to relate. Make your copy easy to scan. You can quickly, because remember, you only got a couple seconds. Even if it's a good demographic list, you only got a couple seconds, and you got to be able to see how you can scan this very, very quickly. Avoid elements that make it difficult, hard to read. Don't send out something like this. My God. Busy, what do you want me to do? I printed this. I don't want to pick on the companies, but I mean, sometimes we print. Sometimes get ugly. Sometimes an ugly envelope can pull very, very good. Call to action is critical. I think the BusyWeb guy hit this pretty good too, but it's also very, very critical in a direct mail piece. Dimension or lumpy mail, I'm going to finalize with this, is that we use a lot of this. If you want to get past a gatekeeper, and we've done the homework very good, and these are, let's say, 100, 200, 300 people that you really need to get in front of. You really need to get in front of them. And you want to make sure your package is seen. You send us a box or a padded envelope. We are all kids at heart. I guarantee it's Christmas and your birthday. I don't care what level of executives you're at. I did a campaign for another ad agency out of Chicago. I get hired for a few agencies because they know I'm very good at opening doors. And we did one for the CEOs of all the auto manufacturers across the country. And they were the presidents of all the major corporations on that list. And we had a special landing page on that program that we knew it was that's the only place that URL existed. And the fact is that we sent an interesting little box that looked like a gift right before last Christmas with handwriting on strips of stamps on it, no meter at all, and it looked like a personal gift to those folks. And there is no way a gatekeeper is going to is probably going to open that or intercept that. That ended up on their desk. Every one of those if it was a software company we're doing it for work for, every one of those CEOs, every one of those important people at the major auto manufacturers went to that website and checked out that piece. We had a little personalized magnifying glass inside. I mean, it was a fairly elaborate thing. But it can be something simple like this: a couple of dice in a tube with a brochure in. This stuff works. It does. Yeah, it is kind of expensive. You don't do it in 10,000s. No, you do it in very, very selective and very. And again, thank you very much. If you had any questions, I know I went through a lot of information really fast. I'm always available. Grab one of my cards. I'm probably one of the easiest people to reach out to, and I will get back to you because I respect this group a lot and I love Pat and what he's doing. So thank you very much.